Can't really work on this without spending like an hour just looking at it, right?
That's fine.
Okay. You good? Oh, it's all ace. Does that work? The air conditioner?
I haven't charged it, but everything else.
Nice, dude.
I didn't clean all that up.
Yeah, I get it, but that looks good. The plumbing. What we have here is supposedly a Holley Terminator X, a 2-bar map sensor, wire loom grommet thing. It's a super clean truck. We built it a while back. Let me pick it up and I'll show you what's underneath. On a no limit custom built chassis, coilovers, built 9-inch, lots of dirt, dust, it's a driver. Another $600 drive shaft from Inland. So all of the exhaust is tucked up nice. It's ran through the provisions No Limit makes when they fab these chassis. Pretty sick. I think we're short a harness. Pocahontas. Short a harness.
558-305. Is that TSS orders?
Okay.
Yeah, 558-305.
Y'all have a trade-in program where I can send you ones I don't need?
Yeah, I wish. There would, it just, like that F kit just came back. I don't think it was 2025 this year, but it was definitely last year. There was like, we couldn't sell it for a little while, because it's, like we can't even sell headers for, like there's no long tubes for anything made after like 86. You put an LS and 67 Camaro and get long tubes for it, that's fine, but you cannot put them on that LS if it's still in the Camaro Chevrolet soda shed. But you put a 67 plate to it. You know?
Right.
That works sometimes.
Hey, is it okay if we put this conversation on our YouTube channel?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Shout out to Holley.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Every time I talk to him, it's like this. I mean, the last guy, he was just as funny and bitching about part numbers. And this guy's talking about off-roading Fox bodies.
Yeah, Gary told him that he had to sign a waiver that it was for off-road use only. And he goes, yeah, because everybody off-roads their Fox body Mustangs. I'm gonna pull all this Mustang stuff off, the factory ECU and wiring harness, and then start installing the Holley. Kerry went to Summit Racing right quick to pick up a TFI harness. That's something that didn't come in the kit he bought, but Summit thankfully has it. So I'm gonna start ripping this apart. That battery cable's probably pretty tight. I didn't lose that, it was already gone. Gary, I'm tired.
Yeah,
Are you tired?
I'm okay. But if you're done, you're done.
I didn't say it's done, I said it's tired.
Would you have this turned down to?
Uh,
It says on it, 30.
20 to 30
Yes.
CSI, and I was regulating it there,
Is that what
shooting it
okay.
next door. Do you have water separator? Let's go with that. All right, so what do we got?
It's custom, baby.
Ooh, I feel warmer already.
Yes, sir. You get your little doors here.
So those are the vents?
That's the vents. That's all you get. And it will cook you out of the truck.
Okay, so just heater lines and go?
Yep.
Is there just one speed? It's just on?
So the speeds go this little bugger here.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, it only worked on high, so something happened to it.
What kind of shit is this?
but it did work.
And then we got shut off valves for the summertime.
Yeah, I'll put you some shut off valves.
Man.
This right here,
Uh-huh.
$104. Actually, $112.
That's a bargain.
It's worth every penny.
4 wires, 2 connectors, and some aluminum.
Well, that really is just 4 wires.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what was that bullshit one? Classic Truck Nationals, what was it? Like best
60s trucks.
best 60s truck?
Something like that.
This cat wins best 60s truck in one of the biggest car shows in Texas. They pull his intake off and it's full of rat turds. This little washer with a Pac-Man. We can call that a Pac-Man bind for the distributor hold down. Kind of dig it. Don't try this at home, kids. Where's my lantern? What time's Aldi gonna be here? Okay, so here's the deal.
Onto the coil.
Well, and here's the deal. It's going to the factory harness, so it's gonna be gone.
Okay.
Anyway.
The coil or the...
No, everything running to that coil.
Is the coil going away? This
No.
coil going away?
No.
Going to the MSD?
The wire to it will be, at the very least, changing.
Okay. You just want to snip it up there?
Yeah.
And then I'll label it. Pull it through or?
No, for now, let's just let it be.
Just flop it over in the middle.
I love wiring. It's like the key to life. Like it lets you know you're alive. Main power harness. Oh, God. Should have been an astronaut. Probably far enough. Okay, so the Holley coolant sensor will need to go here in the heater line of the Fox body. So I'm gonna pull this out and see what I need to do to make this fit in there. Hopefully it's the same size, but if not, I may need to go grab an adapter or two. This is in a tube, heat tube, it's not in the intake. I didn't want to pull the heat tube because Carrie's running it to run, of course, this heater. But it gets super close to bottoming out when that's all the way in. I've just got this coupler, and basically it's gonna extend this sensor up out of that tube, but still be good to go. case you're wondering, the 64 model F100 comes with a O2 sensor removal spot that you can access through the fender well. Factory option for 1964. Try not to bang it on everything on the way down. Nice little tight, and then we'll plug that in. 22 millimeter for those of you keep score. Wide band. There's an extension harness or something. Remember? Gotta add this apparently. This goes here. Got this bulkhead that bolts to the firewall. But it's super cool the way it's done. It's got two Allen heads and it's machined where it kind of sandwiches itself around the two wires that we just put in. And then you just basically screw it to the firewall itself. So this piece is tapped and threaded and just sandwiches. So that goes here, that goes there. This goes here, that goes there. And then these go here. Kind of locks it in there. Pretty smart idea. You could do a lot of things like that if you wanted to take the time to make them. Be pretty handy, honestly. We'll just tighten this up and then it worked just fine right there. This green wire out of the Holley wire goes to your fuel pump. The instructions say if your pump draws more than 15 amps to use this to trigger a relay. This truck was already wired on said relay, so we're just going to keep that part of it intact, and I'm going to use it to trigger the relay that triggers the pump. So that's what's next. This will be the trigger. Does make for a good workbench though. Got all your materials right here. I'll put a little wax on it. Oh my goodness, that escalated quickly. What's up? Did you make it up the driveway? A little color sanding and buffing. Trying to. I don't know if I'm pot committed yet. I'm filming, so don't get me canceled. How you doing? Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. New bag of T-shirt
All right.
rags.
I color sanded the top with 1500.
Yep.
And buffed it.
I can visually see a difference.
But it brought out all the orange peel. So I don't know if I like it or not. I think if I was like a good painter and shot it clean, it would definitely be worth doing. What I don't know, and I just did the top of the bed rail, and it cleaned up well. But what I don't know is if you color sanded it, is that past tense for color sanded?
It's always been sand color sand. Same concept.
If you sand it, and you sanded it so deep that you got all the orange peel out.
Yeah, you just got to sand it further. But then I don't know
how thick that.
So that's why I was like, yeah, it looks good.
This is money. It's clean. It's flat. Like I said, all I did was just this top all the way. I just got finished. And I stopped at the body line.
That don't look bad at all.
No, I mean, but I don't think it looks bad without it. I was just trying to see if, because you can see like haze, you know.
Like it was maybe dry.
Yeah.
Kit Luck 1000.
Mm-hmm. That's what everybody uses that does this for a living.
That's what I do. Right? It don't vibrate and spin.
I don't think so. I don't know. That's a lot of technical stuff, JR. I mean, pull the trigger. You tell me what it does. Yeah. Oh, it's not?
It's fine.
I mean, you acted like this was some hunk of shit. What's wrong with this?
It is what it is. 520.
Not even, it's pre-turbo can, huh?
Oh yeah, pre-turbo can. Had a cowl hood on it last summer. One of those cheap Trader's Village ones I bought used. All the spot welds broke and it was vibrating all the time. Sold it for $150 on Marketplace. And I found that in my back pasture. I've done a few of these. And I primered it. And then I didn't have the Rust-On flat rod, but I had some bite in the shop. Obviously, it's different shape. Full can. I was like, I'll knock this out real quick. Hit all the edges. Round of paint. It's been like that since last summer.
Okay.
But you can spot me a mile away. It's under construction, brother.
That's right. All right, so back at it. Got the intake mounted. Still missing an intake bolt. I'll have to get that. It's not that big a deal. MSD box. We're gonna install that while we're here. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm gonna build a kind of a fake glove box for the MSD and the Holley to sit in. Just trimming out some metal. It's pretty boring stuff. If you don't want to watch this, it really doesn't have anything to do with installing the Holley. This is more of us just cleaning up Gary's truck somewhat, installing the MSD, just trimming out some metal, making the back panel and the bottom piece of the fake glove box, so to speak. Just making some measurements there, punching some holes to drill out for the rivets that holds the box together. More test fitment. I'll probably fast forward through some of this. Like I said, it's kind of boring. Still kind of working through the thought process here. Didn't really know what I wanted to do yet. Bending some angles out of the bottom. That's for when it attaches to the glove box. That way the angle can be where I want to see the LEDs that display in the Holley. Drilling more holes. Drilling holes through the table even. It's always fun. Gonna pop rivet the pieces together. Thought about welding it, but I didn't feel like getting the welder out, and I had everything else, so. Plus I wasn't sure how this is gonna work out. Still not. Coming together though. It's kind of annoying because you got to kind of bolt it in to make sure you're at the right angles. I'm doing this to measure the bracket that's going to attach to the back of the glove box. There you go, seeing it go in there, and that will actually attach to the firewall to give it some more rigidity, whatever, I don't know. There's a bead in that to give it a little strength, and then I'm going to rivet that to the, I guess in essence it would be the back side of the glove box. Cutting some provisions for the wiring harnesses to go through to the Holley. There's 3 big harnesses with big plugs on them, and just going to cut that out. Clean up the areas a little bit so it doesn't cut any wiring. Just test fitting the Holley where I want it. Mark the holes. Another test fitment. Getting this nonsense in here, trying to route some of the wires. Kind of annoying. It's starting to get really compact under there with all the air conditioning and the previous stuff. All right, so I've got the MSD ignition box mounted and the Holley Terminator mounted where you can see the LEDs. This actually took a lot longer than I wanted to, but it's extremely sturdy. It's not going to vibrate, and it's tucked in there. I'm gonna just measure this hole right quick, get it as close to. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I need it close. One in front of it, and it's just gonna be here with 2 screws that sandwich these 2 together. Kind of sandwich that together there. Give them a little yoink. Just knocking off the dross from the plasma cut. Some people grind that off. I do sometimes, but it'll come right off. I'm sure there's still, but it just makes it a perfect cut. Plus, it's kind of therapeutic. There's different ways to install these rivets. I actually have the tool. You can't always use the tool depending on where it's at. A lot of times you can just use a bolt and the rivet itself and a couple of nuts if you're in a compact area. But and just like that. We'll put it in, see what it feels like. There is a lot of wiring going on back here. Of course, I'm not prepared to do this. Let's see which way this goes here. Ah, good night. And of course, we got the longest screws I have in the shop. There we go. Block off plate. We'll throw the Holley display in front of it. If you just fold them, got 4 little thingies. I'll cut it in half. Measure twice, cut once, I don't know, whatever. 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator, 4 alligator, 5 alligator, 6 alligator, 7 alligator. Still have access to the SD card. Not going anywhere. Back on the truck today. So far I've done nothing, so I'm gonna run this through the firewall. This is to the coil from the MSD box. This is the key on for the MSD box. This is the key on for the Holley Terminator X. I'm gonna run that and wire that up. After that, I should going to have to rewire the GM style air idle control valve. There's a pin out you've got to do. I'll cover that. The MSD map sensor. The plug won't go into these orifices here. The male part of it's too fat. Talked to Kerry about it. He says we have to trim this. I'm not sure what exactly that means. I think it may be these grooves are wrong. But anyway, I don't need that for this startup because that's only needed for once the power adder is needed. So yeah, get all that done, put a battery in it, connect all the cables to the battery that have to be. Should be able to probably have to update the handheld, update the software to get this version of the Holley to fire, and then we should be good. Okay, so we're using this GM style IAC, or maybe Chrysler, I'm not sure. It's gonna go on the Ford throttle body. We've kind of talked about it. Just got out of the phone with tech support, and the pin on the Holley thing, it has A, B, C, and D. He said in order for that one to work, you swap A and C on the pin out. So I've got to take this harness apart and swap those out. If you were putting this on a Fox body, you probably wouldn't, I don't know. I think this is just extra to get more of a linear from 0 to 100 on your IAC instead of, you know, that typically that Ford IAC, it's only linear after about 30% open. So it's not a true linear deal from 0 or yeah, something like that. Anyway, so we're gonna switch the purple and white and the purple and blue locations. Let me show you what's going on here. The gray thing that holds the wire in and out, I've got the seal out, I've got the external clip that holds all the pins out. Now you've got these little locks right here that keep each pin in there. This one with the white streak is C, so we'll start by pulling it out. All right, so there you go. So that's C. Now I gotta pull A. Same thing, you just kinda, I put a little pressure on it and then pull that up, and then that comes straight out. Go ahead and throw that in the C port. Just push it in. It locks into place. Get A, push it in, same thing, locks into place. The map sensor, which I'm sure it's made by somebody else. MSD's not in the business of making map sensors, to my knowledge, but this particular brand of map sensor, this little thing right there under that plug, and then there's one right here, or little, I don't know, guides, I guess, for the plug. The problem is, the harness plug does have reliefs cut, but they're not in the right spot. So what I've got to do is figure out a way to put slots in this harness in the proper spots per that sensor. I think what I'm gonna do is an old trick I used to do when I used to modify Legos when I was a kid. I'd get a butter knife and heat it on my parents' cook range. We had a propane cook range, and I would heat it till it was almost glowing white or red, and then I would melt Lego parts to make them the way I wanted them. So I'm gonna try that. Hey, it clicked. All right, so we got the map sensor mounted again. Got the IAC done. Got the MSD through. Now we just need to do powers and grounds for this thing, and I think we may be close to starting this rig, or at least trying to. The IAC, or not the IAC, the map sensor will be in the intake path. You can throw that thing in it. We're gonna use this. So I'm gonna pull out this one, put this in its place. Oh, look at there, it's only finger top. Imagine that. That should be good. Care for the fact that it doesn't have a tie down. TPS. Oh, I didn't cross that bridge. What am I supposed to do about the TPS sensor? Yeah, you gotta pin out the TPS sensor too. Damn. This one came with a cheap plug. I don't guess it matters, but let me show you what mine came with compared to what this one has. So on the true Fox body kit, you get, here's your TPS sensor. This comes down. Comes with this cheater harness thing that plugs into the factory stuff. You can tell where I marked what wires were what, and then that wire straight into the Holley. So what I need to do is just figure out, so you got orange, green, and black. Orange, green, and black, okay? It's orange, green, black with a white stripe. Yeah, it looks like that's what's in there. All right, so maybe this won't be as hard as I think. And honestly, I don't even cut it out. I'm just gonna cut it. Double check, it is TPS. Smoked. Because I'm gonna cut the TPS plug off the harness. I'll play with it, so So if anybody in our group needs this harness, we know, hey, you better find the TPS. But this allows me to not have to cut, and I don't even have to make a plug. I can just splice these together, send it. All right, so setting up the wizard, it's just asking silly questions. The stylus is about the only way you can get this started. Once you get this basic stuff entered, I can go straight to the laptop. I won't ever mess with this stuff again. Target idle speed. I'll do that for now. I can change that later. Ooh, we don't know what cam's in there. I'm gonna go with that one. Injectors forward. 24s for now. None. It's a it's not this at all. It's MSD. So it's a 2-bar map. I'll go with that for now. Get that loaded, and I can download it onto the laptop and change everything. Hey, it actually primed the pump that time. Perform before startup. Okay. Alright, so that's progress. Okay, so I've been battling the TPS reset gremlin. Assumed it was wiring. Cut all those splashes that I made the harness with. Just twisted them together by hand and taped them all for now. Still didn't work, so what I eventually did was I just pulled the TPS sensor that I knew worked off of my 59 with the Holley and threw it on there, keyed it, went to do the TPS, and it works. So apparently, even though this is probably the newest TPS sensor in the building, it's bad, and it may have been bad for a while. Just with the antiquated Ford ECU, it's good enough. I don't really need it. So yeah. Side note, you could have checked the voltage on the TPS sensor. The Holley told me the voltage wasn't in range, so basically it told me the TPS sensor was bad, but we'd done so much other stuff wiring wise, I just assumed it wasn't bad because it was the newest sensor. Okay, so I got the TPS to set. Finally, now the TPS is set, there's no warning. So what I'm gonna do is, I've done the wizard. I've told it as much as the wizard asked for. What I'm gonna do is open the Terminator X software. I'm gonna download the global file from the Terminator, which is basically a preloaded deal. And then take a look at everything here. There's the fuel map. Here's sensors. So I tried to use the 2-bar map sensor, the external map sensor. It wouldn't select it unless I told it it had a blower or a turbo. I don't have a blower or a turbo on here yet. So what I did is I just ran to O'Reilly's, got some vacuum line, and I'm going to utilize the internal map sensor to get it running, get it going, and then we'll move forward from there. So that's what that's here. It does have a Holley 2-bar, but I don't have a Holley. It's an MSD, so I don't know if it's the same. So like I said, I'm going to stick with something that I know works right now, because there's enough gremlins going on. You know, we've added the Terminator, we've added the MSD, we've toggled switches. You know, there's just a lot going on. Try to eliminate some of these gremlins that I know are going to be there regardless. This timing's out of whack. So I'm going to see if it'll start. I'm not really too happy about that. Yeah, that's a lot safer. Let me go ahead and send that to the ECU. And let's start this dog. God, the wind is horrible. Put the learn table on. I'll cycle it on and off one more time. How about that? Smell antifreeze. Alright, looks like it's just burning off what leaked earlier. Actually really happy with it so far, considering it's a little lean. Bump that up a bit. Super responsive. I think it's because it's too lean. I said that like it's a bad thing, but I get nervous when it's other people's cars. So here's where it's idling at. A lot of wasted information here, you know. We're idling at 900. I'm gonna get in here and adjust some of this stuff, and then we'll come back later. I'll probably go inside the house and do it. Super responsive though down low already compared to what it was. Really happy with it. Cool. I'm gonna save this file, save it as a carry startup. Put today's date. Super pleased. Man, that's actually best case scenario there. Off-road lowered 64 F100.
Well, because it has the off-road Holley fuel injection kit on it.
Yeah, you won't, but if you do. And I don't know how much gas is in here, do you?